Thank you, Pyra. Oh, I love interviews with Spirit. He always just speaks his mind. Obviously, he didn't mean anything bad with that. He just means that YellowStar is bringing stability to the team, something that, of course, we were thinking about, well, we had no proof of it, but it seems that that role of him, that shot calling now, is fixing a lot of the things that they wanted to work on.
Yeah, the return of YellowStar is really great to see. I do like having him back. I was curious as to how much of an impact he would have, and just based on what Spirit said, it's like, oh, it's so much easier now. I can just do my job. Everyone can just fit into their roles comfortably, and we saw that a lot more in their game. Febiven on the Zeds. We saw Rekkles on the Kalista. He brought it out yesterday, and he had a great game on it today. Gamsu on the Gragas, another interesting top lane that we're seeing more of. It's really nice to see Fnatic being back to what they used to be.
Yeah, what do you make of that? The fact that, of course, we saw Zac for Gamsu in Game 1, then the Gragas, not the things that most people are going for now. Obviously, Gragas is a viable top lane pick, but why do you think he's playing around with that?
Well, right now, Maokai, Echo, and Trundle seem to be the triage of top laners. So when you take those out of the equation, you have to wonder, well, what are we going to next? And Fnatic are being like, well, there's a bunch of stuff we can play. Zac, we have the engages. He's a little bit weird with the teleport engages, because once you teleport in from the flank, you then kind of have to slingshot, and it's a little bit weird, but you have that engage potential. Gragas is a little bit more reliable, but Fnatic seem to just not afraid to pick out these interesting picks and varying up their playstyles.
Yeah, very interesting. Of course, our eyes were on the mid lane. You brought it up. What if we see the LeBlanc again from Nukeduck? And so it happened. Febiven on his signature Zed. How much did that matchup, do you think, determine the outcome of the match?
Well, it seems to be that Vitality tend to live or die by Nukeduck, and right now, the fact that he played that LeBlanc, he couldn't get the impact that he really wanted up against the Zed, I think hurt Vitality, because they were trying to make plays around the map, they were looking for picks, and they just couldn't quite find them. It wasn't the same Vitality that we saw in Game 1, and the Zed into LeBlanc matchup is typically a skill matchup, but the problem for the LeBlanc is if you don't get ahead during the laning phase, you are forced into his Zhonya's, and that is not the ideal build path you want to be going on a LeBlanc, so your impact in the mid game tends to fall off, whereas with the new Black Cleaver, because of how cost efficient it is, it's actually really efficient on the Zed. So the longer the game goes where it's even, Zed slowly starts to pull ahead. And then you get that fantastic outplay, the 1v1 with Febiven against Nukeduck to just solidify their victory. And once that had happened, you just know, yeah, well, Nukeduck's donezo. There's nothing else he's going to be able to do in this game moving forward.
And with that, Nukeduck was player of the game in Game 1. Febiven is player of the game for us in this one. You know, it's one thing to pick that champion, but he played well on it. The entire team played well around it, and so he is our player of the game. I do want to touch on Vitality, as we say, you say live or die by Nukeduck. So we need to take a look at what else has changed on that lineup, and obviously that is jungle and the AD player, Police. What have you seen from them so far?
So Police has just been solid. I feel like he's not overperforming, but he's not underperforming. He's not someone that is resulting in the team losing, but then he's also not being that standout carry. So Police, he's just kind of filling his role as just kind of like the AD carry that does the damage, kind of what he needs to be. But Vitality with Hyanan, when you think back to Hyanan playing a lot of Sivir, playing very much around these team fights, I feel like they're still getting used to that change in dynamic. They're still taking their time adapting to Police, and the synergy between Police and kaSing is something that's still growing. MightyBear, maybe a couple communication issues. I mean, his English isn't awful, but I think he is still fitting into a new team that has quite a lot of weight on them. Vitality were considered a top contender. They are still considered a top contender in this summer split. So I think that, as Spirit said, he had a couple issues integrating and communicating at the start, but it got better over time. And I think it's the same case for MightyBear.
Yeah, actually, I think we can see some similar storylines for both Fnatic and Vitality, if then not the fact that YellowStar is, of course, kind of slotting right into that lineup, as he said in an interview also yesterday. They ended on 1-1, and as for an update on what happened over in the LCS arena, G2 has earned their second 2-0 of the week after shutting out Giants. Well, we kept an eye on that matchup as well. Fizz was going off, Kiki's Fizz in 2 of those games, and Giants did put up somewhat of a fight, especially in Game 2.
In the early game, things were going pretty well for Giants, but that was about the only good thing that was going on for Giants. Moving forward, it was just very much G2 demonstrating their performance, showing you why they were the spring season champions. And when you acquired that insanely powerful bot lane in Sven and Mithy, it's simply a matter of if we just do our thing and Giants, you do your thing, then it's just going to be a slow bleed out for G2. So just another standard day, another day in the office for G2.
Another day in the office, and 4-0 on the two first
great
days
way
of
to
the summer
start.
split. Yeah, can't change, can't start any better. Rather, well, that is it for the competition here in the studio. We are going to tune into EU LCS 1, where H2K and Schalke 04 are taking to the stage. We'll catch up with you later today.
Action in